Hello and welcome to the TerraVentures realm. It's me, Flying Magquez, and I'm here to bring you a full-length episode on the TerraVentures realm. Now, the plans I've got for today include making sure that this little patch of green which I've managed to cultivate managed to spread all over at least as much of the island as I can manage, which will involve tearing down as many of these mountains as I can. I also would like to get myself a chicken farm, which is going to be a little bit of work, but I do have all the redstone and things all set up somewhere in here. And I'm going to not get myself burned by the fire. I'm also going to do a few more things as well. So I think I better get started on all those things. As you can see, I'm now in a creative version of the world, and I'm just going to explain all the things that are going to happen in this realm now that I've actually decided what's going to happen. So over here we have a nice flat biome, and I'm planning to make this into a skyscraper city, so a modern skyscraper city instead of the sprawling town that I had in the first season. So there'll be skyscrapers, they'll each have my farms, they'll have probably a few useless buildings that are just purely decorative. There'll be, over here, there'll be a bridge to this island over here, which is planning to be a nature reserve, so I'm going to make all this into land, into grass, and put lots of those jungle trees, a lot of the grass, maybe a few hillocks, so this hill is going to have to be removed. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this island over here. Yeah, so I'm going to make all this into green. I'll probably make that land so I get a bit more. I'm probably going to make this little inlet into land as well. Somewhere around here I'm probably going to make another harbour, but not like my Season 1 one where it was medieval. I'm planning to make maybe over here, since this is reasonably flat, I'll put some jetties coming out and make those into maybe I will do a couple of what's so-called medieval ships, so there will be tourist ships, and they'll go out in the distance, and there'll be some cargo ships bringing cargo to the city. So that's all the things I've got, some of the things I've got planned for over here. And if we come over here, I really need to flatten these entire things, which is the basis of today's episode, or part of it anyway. And lastly, I'm thinking I might make something over here into a mushroom conservatory place, so there'll be probably a bit of a fence going all the way around to preserve the mushroom biome just a tiny bit. Plus that so I can A, grow some of these giant mushroom trees, and B, so I can actually look upon what this place actually looked like before I started bringing modernization to this world. But without further ado, I think I'm going to get back into the realm and get started on getting rid of these. Now the last bit of that clip got slightly cut off. I'm not quite sure why, but what I said in it was that I'm going to start doing this next bit in a bit of a time lapse, just to show you the process of getting rid of these hills and the grass slowly growing back over the bits I've created. So here And here we go. After about an hour or so of mining, I've gotten rid of the hill that was over here. I've still got this hill and this hill over here to get rid of, but I'm going to do those off camera in between episodes as well. Now I think I'm going to get started on a bit of food production here as well. So I've got the resources to get some, what was I going to say? The chicken farm going. So I'm going to get that started, and I need some stone, I think. I'm going to get that started on that, and probably put it over here just as a temporary thing to get me started with some automatic food production. And as you can see now, my chicken cooker is now done. It doesn't have any lava, and I've actually disconnected the automatic egg dispenser, which would be in here, so that when these 4 chickens start laying eggs, just like that, it's going to light up. I can then take the egg out and jump up here and throw a chicken in, and that actually worked out a lot better than I thought. I didn't really plan for that to happen, for an egg to be in there and then a little chicken to pop out, but it worked out quite nicely there. So that's the plan for there. I'm just going to keep doing that until I've got a whole stack of chickens in there, and then that will perform very nicely for me, at which point I need to remember to put in the lava so this will actually cook for me, as well as put this redstone dust in. Anyway, I think I'm going to move on to another part of my claim, which isn't actually on this island. It's a little village off in this direction, so I'm going to go off and sail in that direction and show you what has been done in that direction, as well as what is over there. And here we are. So we can see this is one of the new villages that we have around here, and you can see that there's been a little bit of a wall built around it, and I'm thankful to Mr. Green Thumb, I think it's 420, Mr. Green Thumb 420, who both found this village and showed me the location of it, and put in this stone wall, which I'm now going to start completing as well. So thank you very much to him. Now the idea behind claiming this bit over here is so I get a nice source of villagers, which will be important for when I start doing an iron farm or farms. I'm not sure if I do just one. When I do an iron farm or farms, I can start raiding villagers for my farms, which will be important as well. I don't really need those blocks there. What else is there? That it will be good for when I need to come over here and get some trades, and thankfully with the new villager stuff, I didn't bring any food. That was a bit silly of me. Man, I've lost my train of thought. Ah, yes, that was it. So I can get some cats, which I haven't really yet. I can come here and get some food, because these guys will always be producing, and thankfully with the new villagers mechanic, I can just get any villager. Say I can get a librarian, or I can get anyone I want and plonk a composter next to it, and then that guy will turn into a farmer. So that's going to be a really useful mechanic that I will be able to exploit. And what I'll just need to do is finish off putting a wall around it, and I am going to come back at some point and decorate this wall, or at least make it so it's not all just one flat surface, a little bit more like a castle wall, I suppose, to make it look a little bit more neater and fit in a bit more with the landscape. What I really need to do is plonk this down and make myself some bread so I don't starve to death over here, and I can probably pinch some of these things over here to get myself some more food. But anyway, I'm going to continue putting the wall around the village, and then start putting a few decorative blocks. So some cobblestone walls, some cobblestone slabs, and things like that, to make it a little bit less of just a flat surface. And I'm going to also look into these houses for any goodies that I can steal, borrow, not steal. And now I've finished putting the wall around the outside. I'm just doing a little bit of testing over here. You can see that I've put in some cobblestone walls and half slabs and staircases, and it's all looking pretty good, but unfortunately it looks very one texture. I really need to get some stone and some andesite in here as well, and possibly a bit of granite, just to make it look a little bit more depth-wise. So, but I unfortunately didn't really have a lot of that kind of stuff, so I'm going to have to go back to my base and collect that kind of thing, and then and over the next few episodes I'm going to be slowly improving this wall and the town itself so it looks a little bit more full. One thing I forgot to mention is that I do really like the look of these new towns. You can see that it really looks a little bit more properly built. The houses aren't fully flat walls, there's proper roofs and all that, and it actually looks very pretty. And there's a lot more stuff to be raided inside each of these things, so there's a lot more reason to come to the villages and find these kind of stuff. So I'm going to make my way back to my base, and my proper base, my mushroom base that is, and start working on the next part of today's episode. I've now popped into a creative version of this world to showcase a little something that a YouTuber, Silent Whisperer, designed, and it is well, it's not quite an AFK fish farm, but it's a fish farm that if you have an auto-clicker it'll gather the stuff for you. So I'll just show you how it works. We just need to click in here, if I can figure out how to do that. There, click in there, and then the auto-clicker will every now and then as you set it up, click. I'm doing this bit manually to prove the point, but eventually a fish will come along, you will click the thing, it'll get caught, you'll get the XP and so on, just like that, and you'll recast the fishing rod. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a picture of this and then set it up in the realm and get myself some really good stuff, because one of the other people in the realm has also set up one of these things, and I believe he has got quite a lot of good stuff from his books. A lot of saddles, a lot of fish, obviously, a lot of random things, and of course a lot of enchanted books. So I'm going to get that started on that now. And now I've built this thing in the realm, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go AFK for probably around 30 minutes to an hour, and just constantly clicking here. I'm going to make sure I lock myself in here so I don't get killed, but then again, of course, no hostile mobs can spawn here. But anyway, I'm going to go AFK for about half an hour to an hour and see exactly what I get, and I'll come back and show you what I get. So let me just get this thing perfectly aligned, and then I'll set up my auto clicker and away I go. It's been about an hour or so since my last clip, and as you can see in this chest we've managed to get ourselves nearly 120 cod as well as 50 odd raw salmon, and quite a few bows, which there's a few good things on there, and I did get myself a few fishing rods, so I've managed to upgrade my current fishing rod to Lack of the Sea 3, Unbreaking 3, Leo 3 and Mending 3, so just about the best fishing rod you can get. I also got myself a stack of books, and there's 2 Feather Fallings 4s on there, so that's going to really help when I get some diamond boots. What else is there? There's quite a bit in there. And I did get myself 3 saddles, one of which I've now used to go and claim myself a reasonably fast horse. It's not the best health, or actually, is it a good jump? It's not the best jump in the world either, but it'll do for me. And one of the last things I'd like to do in today's episode is start getting myself a automatic wheat farm. I know it's really early in the season to be doing such a thing, but with the new composters, it means I can now turn any villager into a automatic or a farmer. So that means I can transform even a simple wheat farm into a wheat farm. So what I need to do is get myself a nice area to put that in, and I'm thinking just over here, which does mean I need to chop down another part of this hill, but when that's done I'm going to start putting in the fences and a little barrier around it so that villagers can't get out, transport some villagers from the spawned village over there which I claimed earlier today, as well as just get everything set up for the automatic farm, and that should be reasonably quick and reasonably easy, and that should finish out today's episode. So after I finish chopping up this hillside, I'm going to start getting those villagers across to here and start setting up all the rails and things that I need. With this thing now dug out, I'm now putting in all the rails. So I thankfully had quite a bit of golden rail left from a previous, left from mining, and I hadn't really used it yet. So the plan is to just do this the same way I would normally do any of my automatic farms, and just send the rails leaping back and forth, just like so, and eventually recover it with dirt, put the water on top of here, and so on and so forth. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because the water needs to go above this block, not the composter. When I get rid of that, so we'll put this here, and then I'll just work it out and show you what the finished, or not quite finished result is when I've worked out what I'm actually doing here. And of course I ran out of gold and rail. That's a big pity. I'm going to have to either go mining or abandon this project. Let me think about that, and I'll come back when I've finished, when I've thought about it. Since my last clip, I've decided to scrap the idea of using the villager for the time being, because A, I don't have quite enough seeds, and B, I don't have enough of the powered rail yet to put in an automatic system under here. So this is just going to be a temporary thing, and eventually I'm going to move this farm into my city, or my modern city, which I'm going to build over there somewhere, and that's going to house, as I said earlier in this video, all my farms and all that. So this is just a temporary thing, and what I'm going to do at some point is also set up a temporary cow, or at least a mushroom farm, and that's going to keep me fed for a while, in addition to this wonderful fish farm that I've got over here. Unfortunately, I believe that's all I've got time for today. It is again a bit of a shorter episode, but rest assured some of the episodes coming up are going to be really fun, and mushrooms managed to get in here. So anyway, let's have a look at what we've managed to do. We've built ourselves both a chicken farm and a fish farm, and so got quite a fair amount of stuff in there. We've got ourselves a small wheat farm, and we've also torn down this massive hill that was here. So a fair amount of work, but there's still lots and lots and lots to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep watching out for the next one. Goodbye.